Hi, I'm Sergeant Doug Flug, the Media Officer with the Guelph Police Service, and I'd like to welcome you to Guelph Police Service TV on YouTube. Again, I would like you to set your default privacy settings. Select privacy levels for connecting with others on Facebook, including who can look up and send your friends requests and messages, as well as who can post on your wall. On my Facebook page recently, it was kind of funny. I went down on a family trip. My partner, she put up 35 photos from the trip. So basically, I got a notification from Facebook that says, you have been tagged and or 35 photos are going to be uploaded with your picture or your tag on it. Do you accept? So I had to manually go through and accept each one of those. I have no problem with my friends and family seeing photos of myself and my family when we're on vacations or what have you. But again, I've tightened that down because the last thing I would want someone to do is take a photograph of me, say, in public, morph it, Photoshop it, put it up rude and have it graded to say, you know, tagged as Sergeant Doug Flug. It appears on the Guelph Police Service wall and it represents me in a bad light. So again, make sure you set your settings up so that you have to approve every photo that goes on there, and or you're going to approve some of the wall settings that are submissions that people are going to have on your wall. Again, are we asking you to tighten things up so that it's maybe not as fun as it used to be? That may be very well the case, but the last thing you want is someone to put a photo and or comments on your Facebook wall. And I'd put it this way. Would you want everything on your Facebook right now for your grandmother to see? Would you want your aunts and uncles to see? And kind of use that, that measuring stick that if it's okay for grandma to see, then it's okay for the masses to see. But I think we really need to take a proactive approach here and sanitize our Facebook page, get rid of a lot of the people we haven't talked to in a long time, and instead of having 700 friends because that's how many you have, why don't you look at your friend settings and see how many of these people have I actually talked to in the past year? And if you haven't talked to those people, maybe it's just nice to quietly delete them from your site and reduce your vulnerability or your risks to your Facebook page. And again, last, edit your privacy settings for existing photo albums and videos. Again, don't have a situation where someone can actually upload photos, they can tag photos, or they can take those photos. Have your privacy settings super tight, and again, realize that it's almost like a treasure of gold, that you don't want just anyone walking in and taking a piece of that gold out, and each photo of you I would submit is a piece of gold because it's something of you and it represents you, and the last thing I want is for you to be vulnerable or victimized because of this. Now, a big thing that's coming around, and we all know it's tagging. Tagging is where someone actually uploads a photo or they see a photo and they put the little crosshair on it and they can tag who that person is. Tagging presents a whole lot of safety issues that some people aren't maybe aware of. So what I would first of all say is that enable the tag review. So again, as I said from the photographs of my trip, every photo that is tagged of me, I have to approve. Because the last thing I want to do is have a photo that goes on my Facebook page where someone can, you know, draw reference to it or they could hack into it and it represents me in a poor way. So I think it's imperative that you have that. Set your maximum profile visibility. Again, have a situation so it's locked down so tight so that only those people who you would want to see or only those people you would trust with your life can see those photos so that, again, you're saving yourself a whole lot of future problems if someone were to turn against you that you have as a friend and they could use those photos against you. Disable the suggest photos of me to friends. Again, people can suggest photos of you, and the last thing you want is for someone to be able to do that and tag you without your knowledge, and it's a photo that puts you in a bad way. A lot of young people are going to be going out to parties and they're going to be doing some silly things as they just learn to be an adult and they experience life, and some of those are going to be captured. And I actually saw a social media video that it's called Social Media Revolution 2011, and in it, one of the taglines or one of the ad articles comes through. It says, "What happens in Vegas stays on." And you know, in the day of our parents or the day of myself when we were older, it used to say, "What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas." But they went and took that and they kind of changed it and they said, "What happens in Vegas stays on." It listed Facebook, Flickr, Picasa, social media networks. So, you know, if you even have something that potentially is a private photo, you're in a situation where that photo could be used to either, you know, make you look silly or it could get you in a lot of trouble. Disabled friends can check me into places, and this is a really important one to me because you're talking about geotagging with respect to your photos. If you are an online pedophile, if you are an online person who wants to harass someone, when you're allowing people to get a geotag on your photo, it's basically saying where those photos have been taken. The last thing you want is for someone who wants to contact you, follow you, or potentially hurt you, is to be able to take a matrix of where you are through your photos. If you have a situation where someone has photos that say backyard, or they keep labeling you in your backyard, the geotag is going to come up that says you live on 123 Main Street, and because there were 60 photos that were geotagged or tagged of you from 123 Main Street, that bad person can come into that neighborhood and say, well, this is probably where they live. Then if you've got a lot of photos from high school that they see, say you go to Bishop MacDonnell or you go to John F. Ross or one of these schools, if there's a lot of photos that are tagged of you at school, they now know where you spend a lot of your time, which is at home on 123 Main Street. They know that you spend a lot of time at your specific high school, and say you work at McDonald's or the mall. If there's a lot of photos tagged from you with the geotag enabled from those locations, again, that person who's trying to find you, hunt you down, or potentially do something and do harm to you now needs to look that most of your photos have 123 Main Street. Most of your photos have your high school. Most of your photos are from work. How hard do you think it's going to be for them to find you? They just need to spend 33% of their time between one of those three locations, and they could possibly intercept you. And my God, then we have a police investigation because they've hurt you, or they've tried to find you for a less than desirable purpose. So again, really think about that when your friends can log you on places. And even beyond that, with your handheld device. If you're taking photos all the time, there's a geotag, and you can actually disable the geotag settings in your phone. I've disabled it in my BlackBerry because I don't want people to know where those photos are being taken. Again, so that they can't get a geological profile to find out where I am if they have a bad purpose with respect to me. The apps and websites, again, you want to enable your tag review, set your maximum profile visibility, disable suggest photos of me, and again, disable friends can check me into places. And that's with respect to the apps and websites. And again, you really want to make sure that you go through these steps so that you're locking your Facebook page down. And the best thing, as we've said earlier in the presentation, you can then, once you've done all these settings, go back into Rappler, get it to evaluate what it sees, and then it'll give you an honest evaluation of your security settings and tell you if you're safe or not. Unfortunately, sometimes friendships go by the wayside. And unfortunately, sometimes people become not in your favor. You want to use your block list. If you've got a situation, and we have this time and time again, where teenagers, they'll be in love with their boyfriend or girlfriend or what have you, that relationship is just fantastic, but sometimes as life goes, that relationship breaks up. And in some cases, you've got a situation where there's some really bad feelings between them. You may want to block that user so they no longer have access to your Facebook page. Because if you have a situation where a relationship breaks up on extremely bad terms, the last thing you want to do is have a situation where that person, if they're angry with you, can come back and start to hack into your Facebook page and misrepresent you or hurt your feelings or get you in a bad situation. Well, I really want to thank you for coming here today. I would encourage you to check out our social media platform, as I've said before. It's guelphpolice.com. I can be reached at GPS Media on Twitter. I currently have, and I'm proud to say, 1,935 followers, which is a fantastic way for me to do a lot of educational communications with the social media community. But recently, we've even been able to expand that to crisis communication, where 2 weeks ago we had a brownout in the city of Guelph. And when you look at it, if your power from your house goes down, so does the power for your phone, so does the power go for your radio, so does the power for your computer. So Twitter actually with us is being a great information source where we can get words of caution and emergency response out to our followers because most people have a handheld device. So I'd really encourage you, and again, it's at GPS Media for Twitter. And lastly, I would encourage you to check our Facebook page. It's just Guelph Police Service on it. And we're trying to use that Facebook page as a jack of all trades, master of none Facebook page. And in that, we're trying to encourage a lot of organizations to send us photos of or flyers with respect to community events that they're involved with so that we can post that out there so when people come to the Guelph Police Service, they can see a lot of the great work that the men and women of the police service have done with our community work. It can be an information portal with different types of crimes or different types of crime prevention initiatives. But also it's a website where our community partners can come on, we'll post their event, and hopefully we'll get them better exposure and do some cross-marketing. So again, my name is Sergeant Doug Pflug. I'm really happy that you allowed me to come and speak with you today. If you do have any questions or concerns with respect to your social media platform and you want to talk to me individually, I would welcome that. My work number is 519-824-1212, extension 253, or you can reach me at douglas.pflug@police.guelph.owen.ca. And at the end of the day, I hope you found this presentation to be very beneficial. It's great that we had the opportunity through the Ontario government so that you could use the iPads and you could check yourself on 123 People and you could check yourself on Rappler.com. And again, at the end of today, let's be safe, let's have a great time, and let's make the City of Guelph a better place for you and myself and everyone in the community to live, work, and play. Thank you very much and have a great day.